Hello, Madeline. I've gone over your files and I've come to a conclusion. I'd like to break the news to your mother first.
Okay.
Your daughter has an incurable condition.
Oh goodness, what is it? You can tell me.
It's type 1 diabetes. I'm so sorry, ma'am.
Sorry, I heard a bang. Is everything okay? Mama, are you okay?
Yes, my dear, she's okay. She didn't even hit her head on the way down. You, on the other hand, have type 1 diabetes and your mother has fainted. Please, sit down.
Type 1 diabetes? I've heard of that. Something to do with blood glucose levels. That's C6H12O6 and insulin, right?
Yes, having type 1 diabetes means that your body is incapable of producing insulin, which results in your blood glucose levels getting higher because your cells have an inability to take in the glucose. This increased levels of blood sugar is a very serious problem. Ideally, blood glucose should be kept between 3.9 and 5.5 millimoles per liter, but for those with diabetes, like you, 4.4 to 7.2 millimoles per liter is normal.
Too much glucose! I knew I made too many sugar cookies over the winter break! No, Mommy, this is genetic, probably from Poppy's side of the family. By the sounds of it, my glucagon, C29, H481, and 9010, and insulin levels are out of balance.
Well, your pancreas is still producing glucagon, so when your blood sugar gets too low, it's able to increase it by releasing the glucagon from your pancreas, triggering the release of glycogen from your liver. This glycogen is then broken down into glucose. This process is known as glycogenesis.
Okay, so there's no problem with your glucagon, but you need more insulation? Here, honey, just take my blanket.
No, Mom, insulin, not insulation.
The main problem here lies with your daughter's inability to produce insulin. Without insulin, when her blood sugar gets too high, her body has no way for the cells to open a pathway for the glucose to move from the blood into the cells.
When sugar builds up in your blood, instead of going into the cells, your cells turn to breaking down fat in order to obtain energy. That produces ketones, right? We learned about that in Chem. I remember that day, October 17th. How could I forget it? Look, I even have my study sheet to prove it. Signed and everything. Mr. Arthur would be proud. Anyway, a buildup of ketones makes blood more acidic, which in turn lowers blood pH. We know that ketones are acidic due to their pKa of 20, which also indicates that they're relatively weak acids. Hey, we learned about this in Unit 4 equilibrium. Their pKa of 20, which is less than that of water, around 16, indicates a lower Ka value than water. This means that ketones are less readily available to donate hydrogen ions due to the disruption of their carbon-oxygen double bond, meaning that they're weak acids.
Great, so not only do you have diabetes, but now you're doing acid too?
This buildup of glucose in the blood can, in extreme cases, cause diabetic ketoacidosis, or DKA. Your body's ideal blood pH is 7.4, but DKA can lower it to 7.1 or 7.0. This may seem like a small drop, but it can have serious effects. Patients have described their experiences with diabetic ketoacidosis as overwhelming feelings of lethargy, unquenchable thirst, and unrelenting vomiting. Pleasant, I know. In order to restore equilibrium, your body does its best to get the ketones filtered out of your blood by your kidney, causing them to end up in your urine.
Great news! You can just pee out all your problems.
Well, this causes excessive urination, which results in dehydration. This is a large problem when paired with the vomiting that comes along with DKA. Your body really needs those liquids to function properly. Another way your body will try to restore equilibrium is by exhaling the ketones, which can result in your breath smelling of acetone.
Isn't its IUPAC name propanone? I feel like we smelled something like that in the lab once. Can't that just be treated with more fluids and insulin in order to restore equilibrium?
This is often the case, but in extreme cases, treatment gets more difficult and complicated due to the body's very specific needs in terms of chemical equilibrium. Do you have any questions?
Well, I am curious about what things are in my control to keep my blood pH normal.
There are many foods that can affect your blood pH. Those that make your blood more acidic include those high in carbohydrates, such as pastas and sweets. This can also include meats. Alkaline foods include things such as almonds, apples, and avocados. The basic ones, literally.
So what can I do to cure my baby?
Right. So treatment in this case will involve Madeline taking shots twice a day.
Shots? You want my underage 12th grader to do shots?
Insulin shots, not alcoholic shots. Taking insulin actually makes sense because Le Chatelier's principle would say that with more insulin to let glucose into the cells, an increase in reactants would mean a shift to the... Oh shoot, if I could just remember what we learned in class. Oh yeah, to the right! Favoring the production of energy from cells. That's why I've been feeling so tired all the time. My cells aren't making enough energy. So, when someone has diabetes, according to the chemical equation for cellular respiration, a decrease in glucose, which is a reactant, would shift to the formation of reactants or glucose in the blood as energy, which is a product, decreases. Even though equilibrium's all around and in us, I guess we shouldn't take it for granted.
That's for sure. I'll see you next month for a checkup.
What are you?
A diabetes sandwich.